What up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Matt Wyatt. I know I've been a little bit MIA on my YouTube channel lately, but I've been taking a break because I wanted to catch up on some shows and play some new games that I have not played lately. But now I'm slowly getting back and try to catch up on some of the latest release of 2024. Even though we didn't have a lot of major releases coming out lately because it's the early of the year, and now we're in February. So the first movie I've watched officially in the theater for the 2024 movie, it is the movie called Argylle that is directed by Matthew Vaughn, and I'm a big fan of Matthew Vaughn as a director. I loved his work. I loved X-Men First Class, Kick-Ass, Kingsman, the Secret Service, even Stardust, which was one of the most underrated movies. I'm not going to say it's one of his best, but I still thought it was one of his better work, and not a lot of people talk about it. Then he had a couple of misses with called Kingsman: The Golden Circle, which is supposed to be a sequel, which I did not like, and it was a movie that I watched once and I will never watch again. And he directed a prequel to Kingsman called The King's Man, which a lot of people said it was not good, and I skipped out on it. I was a little nervous going into it after watching the trailer. It looked like it was promising. The concept looked interesting, and you have an incredible stacked cast with you got Bryce Dallas Howard, you got Sam Rockwell, Henry Cavill, Catherine O'Hara, Bryan Cranston. The list goes on. It's such a great stacked of cast, and I was willing to go in with an open mind and give him the benefit of the doubt, and hopefully that this might be his biggest comeback as a filmmaker. So this movie is essentially about Bryce Dallas Howard, who's playing a successful author who's written a lot of these spy espionage novel series called Argylle, that is a character played by Henry Cavill. And when she's about to finish her latest book, there's a secret agent, CIA agent, played by Sam Rockwell, is sent to protect her from these evil intelligence who is after her and trying to understand the reason why that her stories are taking place in the real life events, and it's a mirror of the reality that has already happened and the things that will happen, and she's essentially predicting to the events that will happen. That's just a portion of the plot. But once you get through the context of the film, it you realize that it's not as what it seems. When I saw the trailer, I was intrigued, but unfortunately, the movie kind of killed my excitement when they played the same trailer in front of every movie that I went out to go see to the theater. But I still was willing to give this a chance, and I was still intrigued by the premise. And if you're expecting it to be more of a heavily focused of Henry Cavill movie, it's not one of them because Henry Cavill is playing a sort of a fictional character that Bryce Dallas Howard's character has written in that not in her book. And you in throughout the whole movie, you don't really see much of him. And you also have John Cena in it, who is playing the partner with Henry Cavill in her book. I thought that he was good. So I'm going to give you my thoughts out at the gate. I really liked it. I came out of the theater really liking the movie. Did I love it? Did I think it was Matthew Vaughn's biggest comeback as a director? No. I thought that the first half was so more intriguing. I love Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell's chemistry. Their chemistry was golden. And Sam Rockwell, he can do no wrong. He's an Academy Award winning actor, and I love him in every movie he's in. I loved him in Three Billboards, even Galaxy Quest, The Way Back. He in Seven Psychopaths. He's great in any movie he's in. Put him in more movies. He has such a great charisma on screen. Yes, he's playing a character who is a likable asshole that you don't fully trust. But I feel like that deep down you do want to trust this guy, even though he comes off of very shady and a kind of a prick at times. But at the end of the day, you start to learn to trust this character. But like I said, the chemistry between him and Bryce Dallas Howard was golden. I loved it. And I'm a big fan of Bryce Dallas Howard as an actress. I think she crushed it in this movie. I would be willing to see more of her. And she's also a great director because she's directed a lot of episodes of Mandalorian. And I hope that we see her direct a feature sci-fi movie one day, hopefully. But I will say that the biggest weakness of the film was the major plot twist that Matthew Vaughn keeps throwing it in your faces. It was kind of all over the place, and the film doesn't really quite know what it really wants to be. It felt very messy and disjointed to me. Yes, when we get to the reveal of who the real Argylle is, the plot twist kind of felt very predictable because throughout the whole movie they kind of didn't really try so hard to hide it or try to confuse us of who the real Argylle is. because they were overhyping it when they showed that in the trailer. And Sam Jackson is in the movie, but he's not in it as much. And I was kind of a big missed opportunity that we didn't get enough of him. There's still parts of it that worked. I still was very impressed by the stunt work and the action fight scenes, especially on the train with Sam Rockwell taking out a bunch of evil intelligence like off the bat. And it does go a little bit far on the laws of physics, but it wasn't enough to pull me out of it. But by the time you get to the third act, it kind of goes way too bonkers and way too silly and over the top where it doesn't quite pay off. And there's lots of noticeable CGI stunt scenes that were just very noticeable that it almost took me out of it. And there are some bad green screen sequences that I feel like they need a little bit of work. And like I said, the plot twist kind of felt like it was all over the place. And by the time you get to the very end of the film, and even in the mid-credit scene, and there is a mid-credit scene that you want to sit down and wait and see, it almost felt like by the time you get to the very end of the plot twist, it kind of undermines the first plot twist when we see the reveal of Argylle, and it undermines it, and it kind of just became even more confusing, especially in the mid-credit scene, and where it felt like they were trying to set up that Matthew Vaughn was trying to set up his own shared cinematic universe and his own franchise. The mid-credit scene completely lost me, and it didn't really make any sense, and I had to wrap my mind and try to understand what the hell is going on. Like, I feel like I feel like he should have trimmed down the plot twist and also trimmed down some at least 20 minutes of the runtime because it was a little too long. And look, don't get me wrong. I don't mind when movies are long or short. It only matters if this is the right length from beginning, middle, and end. If you wanted to make it like a 2 hour movie or 1 hour and 30-minute movie, as long as this is a perfect pacing and it's on point and there's no too much heavy exposition, then it's all good. Then it's all forgiven. Then it doesn't matter how long or how short the movie is. It matters of how good the pacing is and that you're engaged with the characters. And I was engaged with some of the characters, but by the time you get to the second half, it kind of falls apart and it kind of felt more confusing and more complicated than it needs to be. Don't get me wrong, the cast members did a great job for the material that they were given in the movie. But overall, I think that this was just a movie that it had a big missed opportunity and it had a good potential that was kind of a waste. Now, would I recommend seeing this in the theater if you want to have a good time and turn your brain off? Yeah, you should see this in the theater. I think you'll have a lot of fun. So yeah, according to the critics and audiences, the critics is now sitting at 35% on Rotten Tomatoes. So there's not a lot of critics that gave it a positive word of mouth off of this movie. So only 35% of critics liked it. Then you got an audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's got it sitting at like right now at 67%. So yeah, audiences liked it a lot more than critics. And I will say that I did like this movie. It was okay for what it was. Was it a movie that I would watch over and over again? No. It's a movie I watched once, but I will never watch it again. I love Henry Cavill, you don't really get much of him in this movie. But I understand what they were going for, but I wish they could have done better, and I wish they could have done more with it. What did you think of Argylle? Do you agree with me or do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comment section below, and make sure you hit this a like, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more videos to come. I appreciate you guys' support. Like I said, I'm slowly getting back on to these latest movies. I'm so looking forward to what's going to come up in 2024. And look, I wish I would have loved Argylle, but apparently I didn't. And this is not one of Matthew Vaughn's comeback. Hopefully, when he makes another movie, that this might be a big comeback for him. But as of now, this is not it. So I hope you guys have a great day, great evening, wherever you're from, and I hope you guys stay safe and take care.